So anyway, let's try and bring some of those presentations together. Quite a lot of commonalities, but I'll leave it up to you to identify one or two questions and maybe make some connections for us. Any thoughts on what we've seen there?
Just a quick question. I mean, it is fascinating to be able to use different technologies to interact with students and to enhance learning. But do you come, I just want to borrow ideas, do you come across that as the situations that in the classroom actually the technology doesn't work, then how are you going to face that? How are you going to rescue that kind of situation?
I have to say, I used this yesterday in a classroom, and similar to somebody else, there was one student who didn't have a phone, and they just went in pairs. But I think, because I have to say, my experience with technology in the college that I work in is that somehow as soon as any technology crosses the boundary something happens when you walk through the door and it just ceases to work. And one of the things I like about using these kind of more external technologies is that they work. Whereas if we have Moodle rather than Blackboard, and stuff just doesn't work on it, like it's just too difficult to get it to use it. Whereas when you use Twitter, if you use Padlet, if you use those technologies that are designed to be really easy to use and intuitive, they work. They just do.
Yeah.
I haven't had a problem.
Chris, do you want to just respond to that as well? Technology not working, how do we respond?
Well, we've actually had rather a lot of problems in the past year with the internet being down and Wi-Fi things. The way I've coped with it is depending on the students, you can try and deal with it in different ways. Some of the more technologically dependent things, we just have to cancel the session sometimes because it's actually impossible to meet the learning outcomes without using technology, and it just get set up a decision tree and the report tree.
Just one final comment on
So my plan is that I always expect it to go wrong at some stage, then I'm never surprised. So on Socrative, I can actually download all my questions as a PDF, and I always have that as my last slide on my PowerPoint. So if it does all go wrong, I've always got my PowerPoint. It's not as it's not as interactive, and it becomes more of a, put your hands up for A, put your hands up for B, but there's at least something. So you've always got to have a backup plan.
So you have a plan B.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Question?
It was sort of an answer to that question as well, and I think consistency of use is one of the key things. If you just use something once, and the students are like, oh, and they've just got used to it, and you never use it again, then it can have its problems. If it's something like Socrative, if you build that into your sessions, not necessarily every time, but frequently, the students are used to it, they come in prepared to it. I have the login on the board ready at the beginning, so as they come in, they can sit down and get ready because I use Socrative quite a bit as well. And they're all ready for that when the session starts. And getting there, I just give it a quick test as well. So at least I'm forearmed if I'm actually going to go horribly wrong.
Okay, thanks.
Has anybody used Twitter and Storyfy for discussion of the journal article? No? Wouldn't work?
It's a nice idea. That's something you've tried.
No, I'm thinking about trying it.
I have heard of someone at this university. I'm trying to think but what's in your mind? It's
Jill?
Well, I use it with a discussion board.
Right,
so
yeah.
you can flag the link either on Twitter or Storyfy,
Yeah.
and you can do a fair amount of text actually in Storyfy.
Yeah.
It will take a fair amount of text.
Yeah.
But actually, if you want a detailed discussion, you have to. But then I get them to tweet whether they entered something on the discussion board, and then share quotes back to Twitter. So I work with discussion board and Twitter together because Twitter is quite constraining.
Twitter's
you have to
nice,
be really good
isn't
at
it? I think the students would like Twitter because it's brief, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they might use it more because it's brief.
Chris, you had a point to make there.
I've done a few presentations about responsible use of technology and responsible consumptions of technology, and I think it's up to us as this generation to tell the students that they will never recover no matter how long they are on their phone, the amount of water usage that is used to make that phone. And I think everything should be framed by the fact that people are dying in Indonesia now, mining the tin that goes into every single device that we've ever used in our life. And there are 8-year-old boys in the Congo with Kalashnikovs at their temple to mine the coltan that is part of the capacitors that is in everything that my children got for Christmas. We try and do that a lot in the third year where they're kind of a bit more discursive and a bit more responsible. And I always try, and when you get excited about technology and about what it can use, actually the impact is far wider than, hey, we met the learning outcomes and we didn't print anything out. You know, it's horrific.
Yeah, I mean, you've done an excellent presentation on this that I'm aware of before, and it really does challenge us.
Yeah.
One moment we're thinking about all the new opportunities.
Yeah.
Apologies if this is not what you meant.
We need to balance.
But we need to be creative but also responsible in terms of how we apply this. Okay, well, thank you very much to all the presenters and all of you. Thank you. Did you enjoy that?
We really did, yeah.
Thank you very much.